Hello from ESPN. I'm here with my partner, Satan,
Hello, hello.
and we are going to be commentating the kickoff match of the Season 9 playoffs. And let me tell you, it's probably my favorite of this weekend. It's Jdawg v. Robbie. Now, this is a heater from the regular season as well. These guys have played 4 times. It's 3-1 Joe's favorite, and they've all gone to the last game. So you know we're in for a good one. I'm going to hand it off to Satan, where he's going to start talking about Joe's team.
Yes, so as you can see, Jdawg has his normal 6 Pokemon here that he's brought pretty much every week, with his standard being the Kyurem, loaded in with its Freeze Drum and Draco Meteor Stab, looking to hit everything and anything with a powerful stab attack. He's also got his classic Scarf Landorus, which is loaded with a very standard Rock Slide, U-Turn, and Stomping Tantrum set. Interesting, though, here is a Terra Ghost, Terra Blast. Unsure what that is looking to do into what Robbie has brought, but who knows, maybe the Terra Ghost is just to dodge some fake outs. His third powerful hitter here is his Azumarill, loaded in with the Assault Vest. Very standard set of just Water Stab, Fairy Stab, and of course Ice Spinner, most likely to hit Robbie's Kilowattrel. Next up, this is main support Pokemon Magmortar, which has provided a tremendous amount of support with its Follow Me and Flame Body ability. Another very standard coverage set with Flamethrower and Thunderbolt, and then Helping Hand to pick up some interesting KOs should he need it. And lastly, we got Cobalion and Grafaier, both providing a little bit of support for the team. In case of any sort of screens, Cobalion's loaded up with the Brick Break and then a Heavy Slam to smack into Morgrim and Primarina. And lastly, Grafaier with its Prankster ability, looking to inflict some speed drops on the Robbie's team should he try to go for a Tailwind. And then just some more stab moves, Low Kick and Poison Jab to hit Robbie's big hitters.
Yeah, to jump in on something there, I think the Terra Blast he wants to go Terra Ghost to kind of avoid those fake outs. And then the Terra Blast is actually a bit stronger than Stomping Tantrum at that point, right? Because it's 80 versus 75. So I think that's kind of why he normally runs that Terra Blast. It's not necessarily for the strong coverage move. So now I'm going to talk a bit about Robbie's team here, right? So Robbie, this team's really come around out through the season. He's done a lot of swaps, and I think I should start with the man, Bax. Bax is a perennial contender. It's always good in draft, and he's running a pretty standard set here. Got the Clear Amulet to block those debuffs from Lando, makes a lot of sense, and obviously that strong Glaive Rush. You kind of have to run high horsepower because Ice and Dragon can't really touch Steel, so that's where you see that ground coverage coming in, and then just a simple Ice Shard for priority. A Specs Primarina is very unique, Terra Water, so you know those Hyper Voices boosted by that Liquid Voice are going to be doing a lot of damage. I mean, this is a very strong Primarina, and I'm expecting it to do a lot of work. We also have Kilowattrel, that's very consistent, speed control. We see the Charty Berry, probably expecting that Scarf Lando, trying to prevent the Rock Slide from doing a lot of damage. Next, it's actually Morgrim. I don't know if we've seen a lot of him, but I see some pretty good support moves here. Light Screen, Reflect, Scary Face. Maybe kind of a battle of pranksters here where we have Morgrim versus Whimsicott. And then, or not Whimsicott, rather, Grafaier. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And then Iron Treads, pretty consistent Pokemon for Robbie. Ice Spinner, pretty good coverage move to hit that Lando with the booster. So it's probably outspeeding a Scarf Lando. So that's going to be pretty huge. And then obviously Salazzle, been very good for Robbie. Good Fake Out, Will-O-Wisp, Sludge Bomb. I could see Salazzle being a huge nuisance with its burning. It's going to be really interesting how Joe approaches this matchup. Back to you, Satan.
Yeah, I think you just about covered it. I do think that Covert Cloak from the Kyurem, along with the Terra Ghost from Landorus, is going to completely shut down any sort of fake out here from Robbie. So it should be interesting to see what Robbie decides to lead in its place.
It makes me think he might lean on that Morgrim for speed control potentially. And there you go. We see it right off the bat with that Specs Primarina. It's going to be interesting to see how he wants to approach this turn.
Yes, the Cobalion is there, though, to potentially break any screens that the Morgrim will set up.
It's definitely a tech from Joe to try and beat that Brick Break. We're definitely going to see that come in handy this match, I'm sure. And beyond, I will say, man, this Prim seems relatively untouched right now. I don't feel like either of these guys do a lot of damage. Obviously, a heavy slam might do some good work, but I feel like this Premierman is very free to just throw off a strong special attack right now. And there we go. We see what I believe is a tear of water right off the rip.
Hyper Voice here is going to do insane damage to Joe's team.
I mean, this is Specs Terra Water Hyper Voice. This is not to be trifled with. I'm curious. And the Reflect. So you got to think, even if this Gobalion heavy slammed, it's resisted now and the Reflect. Gremlin Ethan holds on though. It is a good amount of damage. We see the Thunderbolt, but this is going to do a lot of damage in return.
Wow, a double knockout on turn
And
1.
it picks up both. That is a strong Pokemon. I don't know what to say. I mean, man. That lead that Joe led was just very weak to that type of thing, but it could be a trade that Joe's willing to make for some late game pressure from Azumarill and Kyurem, it's looking like. And that's definitely possible. It's just that was a strong lead from Robbie, and honestly a really strong turn 1.
Luckily for Joe, though, both of these Pokemon will resist the Water-type Hyper Voice.
For sure, and being Specs, it is locked into it now, so Robbie has a bit of a defense. He's in kind of like the back foot now. It's how much is he going to lose off of making that aggressive play is what we're really going to see here. I'm also very curious what the Morgrim's going to be kind of doing. It could set a light screen. It could just throw off some scary faces because those will be permanent now. You know, if he were to get one off on Kyurem, that could make it very slow compared to some other mons on the team potentially. Like a Bax Caliber, like a late game Bax would be very scary in that situation.
And then out goes the Primarina looking to reset its choice specs most likely. And then in comes, what is this? The Iron Treads. With its booster energy.
Very interesting here. I do think this Azumarill is starting to look pretty strong for this late game for Joe, depending on how he positions it.
Yes, Reflect is still up though, so its damage will be reduced.
We see the Terra Water come out, so 2 Terra Water stocks on the board already. Might be seeing a lot of that this set, is what I predict. Sets up the other screen. Yeah. With the Brick Break off the table now, those will be here for a while.
Oof, and that Freeze Dry just doing about a third of its HP.
Joe takes the Morgrim kill. I would be concerned now because it feels like Robbie's going to have a lot of pressure very quickly.
Yeah, a Primarina switch in here could just absolutely chew through both these mons, depending on what it locks into.
You see Bax come in now. I do feel like Bax... This Kyurem is just not going to be taking a lot of damage, I would say, for the time being, which is going to be super helpful. Really neither Joe's mons, so this may become a... I'm not really sure how much like Robbie will be sponging it through the screens, but it'll be interesting to see.
Oh, a Draco Meteor miss is massive there, as Baxcalibur is able to get out that high horsepower.
That's a game-defining miss, is what we can. I mean,
and a flinch on the Azumarill.
That's like probably the worst sequence ever. It's really tough to see that. Obviously, it was still looking like a good turn from Robbie, just getting that double hit onto Azumarill, but you gotta imagine that was a lot of damage that was going to be returned. Potentially liquidation into the treads, so...
Almost certainly. Aqua
Check
here does about 25%, but that Azumarill is going to go down to an Iron Head.
Now it gets pretty scary. We're looking at a 3v1 for Kyurem, and...
That Draco goes right into the Protect.
Thought it was another miss, I won't lie, and I was going to feel bad. But obviously you wouldn't really Draco the treads, right? So it's going to be... I don't know. I wonder how Joe's going to kind of adapt to this, because from my POV, it's like Robbie really went hyper offense there and kind of was on the back foot. And honestly, I think Joe was actually going to do a lot of damage pretty quickly. It obviously didn't work out due to a flinch and a Draco miss, but it makes me think that Joe actually isn't that upset with how this first one played out, all things considered.
Yeah, it's very possible if that Draco hits and that Azumarill does not flinch, that Joe gets the double kill there.
And I would think his Primarina can't win that end game, is the truth, so that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it just goes for Ice Beam, so I'd expect the Bax to probably kill here. I mean, this guy's a strong guy, so I hope it does some damage.
Yeah, that Glaive Rush is absolutely going to kill that Kyurem.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm just not walking on from this game like really that upset from Joe, because it's like you got really unlucky there, and Robbie made a really aggressive play and it worked out, but it had a lot of the downside was coming. He just didn't get to see it fully through. So it's I don't think even if that looked like a bit of a beatdown, that it was a lot closer than it seemed.
Definitely.
I'm curious if Robbie even needed the Terra Water. I mean, he may have wanted to keep that Terra Water on backs for that Draco. It's something to think about, because I think Magmortar probably dies anyway, so it's like, was that like a needed kill for the Cobalion? I understand the reasoning, it's just interesting. He might want to consider preserving that Terra, because I feel like that's going to be pretty important on keeping backs around from Azumarill and the opposing Kyurem, especially.
It's possible he was worried about a double up from the Cobalion and Magmortar taking out Primarina. Because that Heavy Slam went from neutral to resisted.
It's definitely true, and that might have been the necessary help he wanted, so I'm interested to see. I'm also curious, I really liked what Morgrim did that game for Robbie. I think the screens and scary, I think one thing he really could consider is potentially just scary facing the Kyurem. I think that could be really solid, just especially in that game state where it's just 2 mons left. Those debuffs on speed would just make backs way better, getting that speed edge on Kyurem. So I think that's something Robbie may want to consider, is trying to improve his speed control a little bit, I think.
Yeah, we also didn't see the Kilowattrel in that game, which has provided Robbie with a lot of tailwind support in the past.
I wonder if the Terra Water Kyurem will kind of bring that Kilo out a bit more. It's obviously weak to the ice from Kyurem, so it's a bit dangerous, but he doesn't have a ton that can hit water besides that. And I guess he also has the Specs Energy Ball on Prim, so...
Well, here is the Kilowattrel out with the Salazzle.
A very interesting lead. I don't want to call it passive per se, because I know Kilo and Salazzle can do good damage, but it's a very different than Specs Primarina Terra Water turn 1, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and Robbie didn't bring either of those Pokemon in the last game, so I'm curious to see what he's left behind.
I think he might have just wanted to give Joe a very different look and kind of see how he plays it. It is a best of 5, so I think there's a lot of merit in kind of just throwing off your opponent here and maybe making a really risky lead like this, because there's so much gameplay left that, kind of getting new intel and getting new looks is super important. So I could see that.
Fake Out Intergraph is going to remove its Focus Sash and prevent it from moving.
Yep, it's pretty big. Curious if Kyurem's just going to take this kill here? Seems like he will.
Yeah.
This is definitely the most interesting part to this, is you get that Tailwind, but someone like Grafai does exist, so it really needs to be Baxcalibur coming in here, and we do see that, because that Clear Amulets can actually allow it to not just get scary faced and make that Tailwind not worthwhile. So that's a pretty big item from Robbie here for multiple reasons, not just Intimidate, but we're seeing it come into play here certainly.
The Grafia does have low kick though, so that is definitely going to be able to do a huge chunk into that Baxcalibur if Robbie does not pair it.
Honestly, something pretty interesting is Kyurem gets Freeze Dry. Like, for the Ice Dragon War, you really kind of want to be Kyurem here. It's like they both Terra Water, Freeze Dry is good. If you don't Terra Water, the Dragon move's good. It's interesting, like, seeing the Ice Dragons go at it, but it just feels like Kyurem has clear edge in a lot of ways.
Yeah, very much so. Looks like we both see the Terra come out from Joe this turn, though.
I also gotta say, I really wonder how much that low kick does from Grafai. I don't really know its attack stat off on him. I think it's like okay, but I don't think it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I would hope it doesn't OHKO a Baxcalibur, right? Or do, like, I don't
Definitely
know.
not.
But it might 2-hit it, right? I'm not really sure.
Grafai has a 95 base attack stat, so
I mean,
not great, but it's still manageable.
Oh man, it's pretty interesting. Well, especially with it being Sash, it might be a lot of attack on that Grafai. It's gonna be interesting how Joe ran that set.
Can we see the Terra come out?
And we are 4 for 4 on Terra Water, baby. The stats are going up quick here for the classic Terra type. See a Sludge Bomb. I mean, that's a lot of good chip. That's gonna do damage too.
Oh
wow!
The double into the Kyurem gets the KO. That's really
huge.
rough for Joe.
I mean, to me, Kyurem seemed positioned to potentially do a lot of work. So for it to be gone, and that does 2-hit, so that does good damage.
That would have OHKO'd if it didn't Terra.
Yeah, that's pretty strong that Joe has that tech. losing his best Pokemon is not very strong. It is very worrying for this end game here.
Yes, although with the Assault Vest, this Azumarill should be able to tank any attack really coming towards it from these two Pokemon.
Yeah,
at least decently well. Although a Will-O-Wisp from Salazzle would be absolutely devastating.
Here, I feel like a Sludge Bomb probably does good damage too, but just getting a Wisp off would just be horrible. So, and that's why the Sash is so nice here. I'm almost wondering if Joe should have maybe broke that Sash, so Aqua Jet should kill.
I think he tried to turn 1 with the Grafaiai, but then it got got hit with the Fake Out. Because you saw that the Tailwind from the Kilowattrel moved before that Grafaiai did, so it went for an attack. Yeah, now Aqua Jet will bring it down to the Focus Sash. Unfortunately, though, if it goes for the Will-O-Wisp here, that Azumarill is gonna be
in a
rough position.
I feel like this endgame is looking very good for Robbie, because he just got rid of the biggest attacker, and the second biggest attacker just got burned.
And then another low kick into that Protect. It's not doing any damage.
I'm trying to think. So there should be one more turn of Tailwind, right? Is that where we're at? Yes. So the low kick isn't going to go first, so the backs is like free reign for another turn. It's kind of, I feel like you could do a lot of Fear Joe. I mean, Robbie, like just kind of throw off any attack, and hopefully endgame with Prim is definitely a pretty valid strategy here.
We will see Joe try to stall out one turn for the Tailwind to end to make sure that Grafaiai can outspeed that Excalibur with a Protect there.
Yep, good Protect on the Grafaiai. That's why those moves are so important on those support mons. You don't think to run it, but calls it out, and after burning it, kills the Azumarill right after.
Another double into that left slot of Joe means another KO for Robbie.
I gotta say, I feel like we are lacking some late game offense now, is the unfortunate situation for Jdawg. It's not completely out of it, because I feel like this Grafaiai is just going to get a kill randomly on this Excalibur, but I really wonder if Prim or someone's going to come in and do a lot of work at this end game.
Another Will-O-Wisp from the Salazzle on that Cobalion. That's just neutralizing another one of Joe's Pokemon.
I think that's definitely seeming to be Robbie's strategy here. Is he kind of the first game went for that neutralizing approach with the screens, and now this time he kind of focused on speed first, and then is going for the let's spam some burns. Let's kind of weaken down Joe's team to where body press isn't even killing. It's getting really. It's just a lot of weak, and Robbie's just doing a lot of damage.
And a crit there, although that high horsepower was almost certainly killing that Grafaiai regardless.
Yeah, that's a strong Pokemon.
I do think that Joe made a slight error there. Probably should have body pressed into the Salazzle and then low kicked the Excalibur to get the double KO. So now he's down 1v2 rather than being up 2v1.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting. Yeah, he definitely should have. Yeah.
This almost looks like the end of game 2 here. Although the Citrus Berry, maybe that will save Cobalion.
No, I think this Moonblast is going to obliterate it.
Just a little bit.
I mean, it's pretty interesting, because like, could Prim have died to Poison Jab plus a Burn Cobalion? I mean, it's tough to say.
Given how much the low kick did to Excalibur when it was a neutral move, I think it very easily could have taken out that Primarina.
It really might be like a max attack or 5, to be honest, or something like that, because you're running Sash, and that was a lot of damage, so...
I think we could have seen a very different final turn there had that Grafaiai attacked the Excalibur, but we'll see what Joe does in game 3, because it's now or never for him. He's gotta win the next 3 games to win the set.
Yeah, this feels like obviously just a really great spot for Robbie. Up 2-0, he got both wins with all of his different Pokemon have kind of come in and shown pretty good value this matchup, which is nice. Sometimes you kind of see some of your mons falling off in value, but here it felt like he can bring a lot of different fours still, and Joe really can't know what to expect. Could he go back to screens? Does he go back to Tailwind? He traded Tailwind for Kilo, and it ended up being very positive the way Robbie played it, because he made all the good protect reads on Joe. It's a bit riskier, because if he gets those reads wrong, he probably is dying to cure him and putting himself in a worse spot. But it'll be interesting how Robbie wants to play it this game.
Yeah, that Kilo dying also let Robbie bring in the Excalibur for free instead of having to manually switch it in.
For sure.
It gave him a lot of momentum in that game.
I'd say it's a trade he's just happy to take in that situation, and it's kind of saw it in the other game too, where the Morgrim died, and it's like, okay, I'll just switch in my threat now, you know, like it's Morgrim's not the end of the world, and Kilo's not the end of the world, so he's kind of willing to let those guys die for the greater good.
I do think that Salazzle caused a bit too many problems in that last game, and I wonder if Joe's going to try to adjust and make sure that he can take care of it before it burns half of his team.
And something noticeable is Lando hasn't appeared at all, and I think that's for pretty good reason. I mean, Robbie brought a lot for it. The Clan Amulet, the Chardy Berry. I wonder if it could be pretty nice Terra Ghosting from that fake out on Salazzle or some sort of lead like that where you just commit to Terra Ghost, but I understand not wanting to bring it. It's just, that's a strong Pokemon to be on the bench for what's going to Game 3 now.
I think he's just fearing the water and ice stab from Excalibur and Primarina, because it has just done so much already in the set.
Definitely. We're seeing Robbie go back to that Game 1 lead, where Joe's bringing out what I think is his Game 2 lead, right? So it's pretty interesting. It's the Prankster battle.
Although, looks like Joe is double attack the Primarina, although it switches out.
That's really interesting from Robbie, because it's the first time he did this lead, he goes, I'm going to go Terra Water and just Hyper Voice. And this time, he sees Kyurem, he says, I'm good. I'm going to just switch my Prim out and go for a more defensive option in Treads for now. So, it's definitely an interesting switch from Robbie.
And we do see Joe spend that Terra already.
Yeah. Terra Water's just so solid in this matchup. Makes a lot of sense. That puts us at 5 Terra Waters, you know, pretty solid Terra Water matchup across the board.
And if Robbie Terras at all, it'll be a 6 Terra Water.
What's interesting there is he reflected first. It almost makes you think he feared the Grafai's attack, like he wanted that to be weakened worse before the Kyurem went off.
Oh!
In a freeze.
A nasty freeze there.
You know, the Jdawg luck allocations, you know, maybe they returned favor. They said, we'll spot you this one, because that's a huge freeze on what was looking to be one of the faster Pokemon for Robbie here.
And there comes out that scary face you were talking about Game 1. Slowing that Kyurem down. So it is definitely the slowest thing on the field now.
I definitely think Robbie wants to get backs in here, is probably what he's thinking. Because that scary face is like, let me get backs in, not speed Kyurem, and do one of my devastating double attacks. The Treads being frozen is obviously really brutal, because you have no idea if it's going to make an appearance this set or if it's just going to be sitting there the whole time, so...
That Morgrim surprisingly lived the double attack, but did go down to the poison.
Yeah. He's not going to light screen off.
Very tanky Morgrim.
Yeah. This is just a really tricky spot for Robbie, because when you have him on frozen like this, it's like, do you play like it's gonna like exist? Do you just like, you know, does Joe has to make the call? Is he just gonna keep doubling the other guy? Is he gonna, I don't know, let me just get rid of Treads, right? It's a sitting duck. It's a weird spot, because for now Robbie's just in a perennial 1v2 and can't really escape it.
Yeah, we will see the Terra come out onto the Primarina, making it that neutral water type.
Terra Water going up to 6. Pretty good in this matchup, clearly. But I feel like Freeze Dry is still going to do a lot here.
Oh, and a scary face from Joe there, making sure the Primarina is slower than that Kyurem.
I gotta confess, this is my first time seeing Scary Face in game. Kind of scary. Like low-key, like I would be...
Oh my god!
That is actually pretty crazy. Oh man. See, people, Jdawg has been pretty unlucky this season, so Game Freak decided we'll spot him not 1 but 2 freezes. Now, does this make up for the Draco miss and the flinch from Game 1? Who's to really say? But hey, they're handing them out in droves, the freezes.
We will see the poison jab just barely missed that KO, but the Ice Beam will take out that Iron Treads.
I feel like calling this game close would just be not fair to Robbie, but because I don't know. Was Robbie in this game? It kind of felt like he was, but it's really.
I think if he doesn't get frozen, he probably launches a Specs Energy Ball at that Kyurem, which very easily could take it out.
For sure. And instead he got his second freeze, but he also got pretty lucky game 1, so kind of want to say these balance out in a lot of ways, where that Draco flinch is kind of okay. Joe got 2 freezes, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, we get more games, so that's all we can really hope for.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Bax is him. I'm gonna say he's not.
Glaive Rush is gonna make that whatever attack's going into it do twice as much damage.
Oh yeah, true. So what do we think that did? Like 250%? Like what do we like? Is that like 300%? Like
I could even see it being 400. I'm not gonna lie.
You think like a Draco to Bax is 200%? I mean, man, that Cure just wiped it, bro.
At least we didn't see another miss. That would have been devastating.
Yeah. So we get more games. We love that. And I'm very curious, because this is just a weird spot, because if you're Robbie, it's like, was what I brought bad? It's tough to say, because there's 2 freezes, and similarly is Joe like, would that have worked without the freezes? It's something to think about, where I kind of liked both their strategies there. I just don't know if they should mix it up, or if Robbie's case, it's like, do you double down again? You have that extra game, so I think it's definitely something to consider.
I guess we'll have to see. I did not expect the Grafia and Kyurem to single-handedly wipe Robbie's team, but they found a way. So Robbie has to put more respect on that Kyurem for sure.
I think Robbie also needs to put respect on Grafia. I think we've actually seen Grafia do pretty good work. Consistent damage, and it's had its one util move, but it's the most important stat in the game, speed, so it's constantly a presence, and Bax does have the clear amulet, which helps it, but then it's like, well, you are getting low kicked, and it's OHKOing you, apparently, if you don't Terra, so it's a weird spot that you really have to respect this Grafia.
Yeah, I think a fake out from that Salazzle did so much in game 1, sorry, in game 2, that we most likely will see that come out again.
I very much
break its focus sash, mainly.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing call out. To me, like Salazzle does good damage, we saw, and it really did kind of hold the line in a lot of ways. It gave good chips so Glaive Rush could kill it when he made the double play. It wouldn't be surprising to see Salazzle kind of come back into it here.
Yeah, those Sludge Bombs were doing a very impressive amount of damage, most likely being made special attack.
It's honestly a pretty underrated Pokemon. It's in a good speed tier. It's got Sludge Bomb. It's got some decent support. It's a Fake Outer. It's honestly always done pretty good for its role. So it's great to see Robbie putting in good work with it.
Okay, let's see the leads here. Can we go back to the lead from game 2 from Robbie?
And
so we have the same exact leads from game 2. Let's see what the players do to switch it up here.
So Joe's kind of committing to this lead. He must really like the balance of the speed control with Grafia and the kind of just the offense Kyurem has. And then Robbie's going back to this for a lot of reasons. Could be game 3. If I'm being honest, the Morgrim hasn't looked the best at times. And the hard calls the turn, though.
Yeah, hard calls that protect from Grafia. Although the Covert Cloak.
The Covert Cloak. See,
I think Robbie forgot about that one.
Didn't. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would have rushed Sludge Bomb if I was Robbie, but I was wondering why he wasn't faking out before, but the Covert. Honestly, when you have these deep sets, you can forget small stuff like that. We're going to see if that comes up big, because that was good chip he missed out on if he wanted it.
Yeah, now the Salazzle's focus sash is broken.
And we saw that play a pretty massive role in game 2 when they did this matchup the first time, where Salazzle kept its sash and was intact the entirety till it really needed it at the end.
In comes the Cobalion. The Grafia is switching out.
You see, they're both switched. So that's pretty interesting, because it means this time Kilo's gonna actually live and not die to an Ice Beam compared to the first time these guys went at it.
In comes Iron Treads, activating its booster speed once again.
I'm guessing Iron Treads is the soft Kyurem answer. Can't lie, I don't think it's the best at that, but I just think Robbie doesn't have a ton for Kyurem in general, so he's kind of had to accepting alright, neutral ice move is better than Prim or Bax taking a lot more damage, right? So it makes sense.
That Sludge Bomb from the Salazzle once again does a lot of damage, taking Kyurem to about half health.
Well, that really makes you wonder, like, man, what if he Sludge Bomb the other turn? That's a huge damage, like, amount that he just whiffed on by a simple team sheet mistake. Actually, I think this Treads has a lot of pressure right now. So.
It does protect, looking to scout for whatever whatever Joe plans to do. But we'll see protect from the Kyurem as well.
Interesting. Because this Cobalion has protect, so it'd be interesting this following turn.
Yeah, looks like both players' attacks will just bounce off those protects.
Honestly, this spot's really good for Robbie, I feel like, because to me this Kyurem's under a lot of pressure now, and it's gotta go somewhere.
A double up is for sure going to kill it.
Yeah, a double up's a solid play. Honestly, the Treads has just a lot of pressure in general. I don't know how much it would do to a Cobalion, but you gotta think that's pretty good damage across just like this entirety of the game.
Yeah. Especially if Salazzle puts a Wisp onto that Cobalion, then it's not going to be doing much to that Treads in return.
We see.
So looks like we have double up here.
Oh!
It is the Wisp on the Cobalion.
Is the Treads yeah, he's trying to have Treads live this, I think, right?
Almost certainly. And it does.
Yeah. Huge play by Robbie there.
Aqua Jet from that Azumarill can easily pick up either kill here.
It's a bit of a tough
Both Pokemon do have Protect though, so
a really tough Aqua Jet play. Not sure.
Oh, we don't see any Protect come out from Robbie here.
Makes me think Robbie's just willing to trade one for the cause and maybe just get an attack off on this Azumarill. See?
Yeah.
Wow.
Train the Treads for the Azumarill.
I wasn't sure how much that was going to do to an AV Azumarill. It's not, I guess 2-hitting isn't that crazy, but that was very curious.
And then Body Press isn't doing anything to that Salazzle, so a very, very good turn from Robbie there.
Well, that's why burning it is so good, because now this Cobalion to me is just a sitting duck, where Robbie's basically forced Joe to kind of have to play around his own Cobalion just sitting here and body pressing at half damage.
And depending on what Robbie's last mon is, that Cobalion can either do a lot of damage or do absolutely no damage.
I'm kind of expecting a Baxcalibur in the back is the last mon here, and you know, I think we've seen it do so much work it would make sense, but could easily be Prim.
We do see the Killer Wattrel come back out though.
So Grafaia's Sash is still intact, which is a pretty big deal as we've seen. He's gotten big damage off and he's got good speed control, so will Robbie focus it down? Will Robbie just kind of set Tailwind and let it stick around? I mean, Joe has very little offense on the board, which is the big deal here.
Yeah, a Poison Jab might be able to take out that Salazzle. Probably could, to be honest. But
I feel like
if that Grafaia gets Will-O-Wisped, that's
wow,
a very unfortunate scenario as well.
It's kind of it's an interesting thing you could do. It breaks Sash and just like, yeah, your Grafaia does no damage now too.
And we will see the Will-O-Wisp.
He does do it. I mean, he's just having that damage now and getting his speed control. It's such a passive duo right now that Robbie has that leeway.
Even with a crit, that Poison Jab is doing nothing to that Killer Wattrel.
I think this Kilo is going to be able to get some strong hits off now. I mean, Air Slash is no slouch, and honestly, neither of these Pokemon seem fit to kill it for the time being.
Yeah, depending on its special attack investment, we could see a kill onto that Grafaia.
See the Citrus Berry.
A raw Air Slash.
It's honestly
the Citrus Berry might be worse for Joe here. I feel like he wants to let Cobalion die so he can get the Kyurem in for free.
Yeah, honestly, it's a lot of credit to Robbie, because to me, he's put Joe in this weird spot where his kind of support guys are in this weird limbo, and you can't really switch out because you don't want your Kyurem to come in and take good damage, because the Salazzle and Kilo are doing good damage. They're supposed to be the supports where you could switch Kyurem in, but the way Robbie's played his Salazzle, it does good damage. We've already seen it, so he can't really just switch Kyurem in. Now these two who are just like stuck, they can't go anywhere, they're not doing any damage, so Robbie's just melting away at Joe's team.
Yeah, and all of Cobalion's moves right now are resisted by both of Robbie's Pokemon.
Yeah.
Heavy Slam and the Body Press, Perk Break. being resisted by those flying poison, fire, and electric types.
Honestly, it makes me wonder if Kaban was really the right bring. It's kind of feel like it hasn't done a whole lot, and if someone like Lando were here and was able to tear a ghost, it could rip a rock slide and do a lot of damage. It's tough to say in hindsight. It just seems like this Kabalion wasn't really necessarily the answer to what Robbie's brought so far.
Yeah, even a Mag Mortar to follow me away those Will-O-Wisps would have been very big.
And we see the guy, he's back.
The Baxcalibur. Well, the low kick from Grafai will definitely not kill anymore, given that it is burned.
I think Robbie's in an amazing position, is the truth, because
Yeah.
it feels like he's able to keep Kilo alive, which means Bax will get speed control for as long as it needs, and then when Kirim comes in the back, it's going to be at a huge disadvantage. So I don't know how Joe's going to try and get out of this. It'll be interesting to see.
Looks like he's trying to stall Tailwind, so there's one turn of Tailwind left after this turn.
He needs a weird timing to where one of his Pokemon dies, but he needs to get a scary face off on Kilo. It's going to be the big deal here. And then maybe he could find a way through it, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, Kirim by itself might be able... Although, I guess now that it's terrestrialized, it will be weak to the Volt Switch from that Kilowattrel.
That's true. It could become like a weird... If Joe played to it, he could get to a weird 50 where, like, Robbie has to tear water, but then you're weak to Freeze Dry, or you don't tear and you're weak to Draco. And, you know, to me, it's like...
Scary face come out here.
It seems like that's on Joe's mind. I do agree that might be one of the only outs here is to position it so Kilo's slower when Kirim comes in. If you're Robbie, you almost want to not kill someone this turn, or find a way to kind of not let Kirim come in the same time Tailwind runs out.
We do see the Terra Water. Makes a lot of sense. Just wanting to make those fighting moves be neutral.
Robbie also has a pretty good protect play on his Kilo. We see it right there.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, that kind of like closes the last door for Joe to get back in this game, because my guess is he's likely just to kill the Grafai, and at that point, speed control is solely in Robbie's favor, with the strongest Pokemon left in the game at Bax on his side.
Like Glaive Rush is going to destroy that Grafai. Whatever was left of that HP is now gone.
Honestly, just a really strong turn from Robbie there, kind of calling that final out with the scary face play and just closing the door on it, saying, nope, I'm going to keep my Kilo alive, I'm going to reset Tailwind, and I'm going to let Bax win this game.
Yeah. Although that Kilowattrel will go down to a poison, so we could very much see potentially a double protect here, although he needs some damage on Baxcalibur fast.
It seems like all roads end at just a Bax v Kirim, where Robbie's going to have speed control, because it seems like Kabalion and Kilo are just going to die naturally pretty soon, and if you're Robbie, you're kind of just incentivized to attack Kirim, because it's Kabalion's just not, he's melting away to his burn, so there's no point.
Mm-hmm. I think a Glaive Rush here probably takes out the Kirim.
I think we've already seen it do that much damage, and coming from one like Bax, it does so much damage.
This Kabalion has been struggling this game. Oh, and the protect.
Makes sense.
Those attacks will just bounce off.
Just wants to let the Kabalion die to its burn more than likely. Makes sense.
The Kilowattrel does go down to poison here, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Joe to get back in this game.
We may need what could be a triple protect, I guess. Install all 3 turns of Tailwind.
That would be interesting to see for sure.
Certainly a play. Kabalion actually ends up living that.
Yeah,
I don't know if Robbie
has
cares.
1 turn left for sure.
Yeah, I think Robbie's kind of content to let it just body press into nothing.
Yeah, we do see him go for the protect, but that body press is probably going to do maybe 20%, and then the Kabalion is just going to die right after.
Let's do 15 maybe. Not the best. And I'm guessing are going to be some protects from Joe. Could get pretty interesting here if he got them all.
What are the chances of that? It's 1 in 3 and then 1 in 9, so a 1 in 27 chance. Oh, we both see him just go for it.
Interesting.
Seeing if he can live that glaive rush. I don't think he can, but
I'm surprised. He's just going for it. I understand, but to me it does seem pretty likely Bax would do enough damage.
Yep.
And there it is.
And there it is.
Yep. Robbie takes game 4 and takes down Jdawg 3-1.
Very impressive run from Jdawg.
Honestly, the fact Jdawg was picked last when everyone picked their opponents kind of tells you there's a lot of respect for Jdawg. There's a lot of respect for his team. So honestly, Robbie taking that on and winning it, it's big for him. And honestly, it's a lot of respect to Joe. Just he had a great season, and he played one of the better opponents in the league, really, in Robbie. So it seems like Robbie and Jdawg are joining us now. Hello to both of you.
Hello, GG's, Robbie.
GG's,
congratulations, sir.
GG's. That was a fun set.
For sure.
Oh, man.
That was a fun set to watch.
Yeah. Let's start, Robbie, with who you think was the MVP.
Of the set?
Yeah. Who was the guy?
Oh, man. I think they all very equally hold their weight this week. I think Kilo and Bax probably put the most work in at the end of the day, but
it was interesting seeing you kind of adjust from, even though you won game 1, you kind of said screens is nice, but I think I'd rather commit to something like consistent speed control with Kilo. And in the 4th game, you even able to keep Kilo alive to where it got to a position where, Grafai and Kabalion aren't really doing a lot of damage, so Kilo was able to kind of stick around and get you a second tailwind. So I think there's a lot of credit to Kilo in those big games that came for him.
Yeah, Kilo's my guy.
The Salazzle also put in a ton of work with those Will-O-Wisps and Sludge Bomb.
Oh, yes. Will-O-Wisp was definitely the biggest adjustment I think I made. I thought you know, when I was making my team for the rematch, the two things I thought were going to be the biggest game changers was Specs Primarina or Ice Shard Bax, but it was that Will-O-Wisp really made the game for me, I think.
I think that was kind of what to me was pretty interesting. Was you both had supports, but Robbie, yours were kind of able to do a lot of damage, and at times Grafai did a lot of damage too. But it seemed like you had that Wisp edge, which kind of let you in the game 4, especially kind of weaken Joe's supports to where Salazzle and Kilo are sticking around, where Joe's kind of just letting his Grafai and Kabalion whittle away. So that's super interesting to see. I think another thing was kind of interesting for both of you. It's how is it prepping for kind of this Ice Dragon Ditto? Because it seems like Kyurem has the edge, but when you're able to get speed control, kind of Robbie takes that edge. So it was kind of an interesting dynamic there.
You go first, Joe.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, it's kind of fun going back and forth with it because it's we got the Dragon Ice, Water, Fairy, strong ground type attacker. I think the main thing, at least for me, was just I knew there was gonna be more Protect this time. And I felt pretty confident you were going to have Ice Shard. So I mostly prepped around that when I was... I didn't want to be
not see a lot of Lando.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. As soon as you brought Ice Shard, I mean, I know I still have Terra, but it just didn't feel that good, especially with the Chardy and proccing for competitive. Just felt like it was not in a safe place to bring him in.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing going into the set, especially... I really noticed it game 2 and very noticed it game 3 is I made so many adjustments to have a much better matchup into Lando that I completely weakened myself more towards Kyurem. Because I was really in my head, I was really debating for the Bax Terra. It was originally Terra Steel, but I was very scared of Lando, so I switched it to Terra Water. So that made some scary games.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was definitely a fair play to make. When you had 2 Terra Waters, I was a little surprised. I was like, man, maybe Kyurem could start. I guess on my side of the field, I realized Kyurem was definitely. Yeah, I think I realized pretty quickly that Kyurem was the key to this set more than anything, and I just needed to pivot in a way.
Yeah, well, I was doing some calcs with Terra Water specs Primarina, and the biggest one that really made me decide on Terra Water was I was pretty scared of Follow Me with Magmortar. And the biggest thing is, even if you did max HP, max special defense calm, unless you have like the berry for water, you're still getting OHKO'd by Hyper Voice.
I did kind of assume that when I saw that. I was like, that's gonna hurt. So I definitely did not want to.
We saw it game one. We saw it game one.
Game one
Yeah.
was a monster of a game. That Primarina getting that double kilo immediately was.
I knew that was going to be strong, but for some reason in my brain I was just like, no, this will be all right. And then it was so not all right.
When I saw that you stayed in with Cobalion, I was like, okay, he either stayed in just to get a brick break off, or he has a very specially bulky Cobalion. But
that was not the case. Neither was the case technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgrim's a bulky boy.
A really good item bring by you, Robbie, is the Clearing Millet. I'm sure it was probably mainly for that Intimidate, but I think it came really in handy for the Scary Face from Joe, because I think that was kind of his
that
biggest...
was not the intention, but it definitely helped out.
A lot of ways it kind of let you... It was just, if you got the speed control, his biggest answer was Grafai, you kind of had this big workaround to where it was very much Kyurem versus Bax to me, where it's like, if you got the situation right, Bax was in the lead. It's just a straight situation where the speed was kind of neutralized. Kyurem had the advantage, so it was pretty fun.
Game 4 was very scary for me because I was not keeping track of how much damage Poison was doing each turn, and I was like, oh man, I actually don't know if I live one more turn of like Poison to get like a Tailwind off. But in my head, the way I saw it was the only win con Joe had at that point was to stop me from getting another Tailwind up, because I don't see any world where his Kyurem is not faster than my Bax. So I was like, I need to get this Tailwind off.
What Jdawg? What was the live POV where game 1 you kind of have this Draco miss and this flinch in a game where I think you could have potentially turned it around, and then game 3 they reward you with 2 freezes. Was that like rejuvenating? Was that like, well, that happened?
It's kind of funny because I feel like I launched enough ice moves to get a freeze. I wasn't expecting them both to be in a singular game. Just throughout the season, I was like kind of surprised. I was like, I've seen people get freezes before. I was like, I know I'm clicking ice moves. Sure enough, there they were.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, come on. Then I was like, well, he got really unlucky game 1, so I kind of, this is fine.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, I feel like they kind of neutral it out. It was funny because the first one was like, man, this is tough. And then the second one was like, well, that's the game.
Yeah, I was like, I could have maybe turned it around if I had a turn 1 thought. Because I launched Energy Ball into the Terra Water Kyurem.
Yeah, that's what we thought. So that would have.
I would have had to do some pivoting to like keep it alive, because obviously,
I think
obviously Energy Ball is not good against the rest of that team. But
for sure.
I think Joe still would have won that game 3, but it could have been a little closer.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And honestly, Joe, was there any thought to like, was Lando just always off the board? You think? Because I understand like a lot of the downsides there. I was just wondering if like you thought about mixing it up.
Lando had an option. I think the big thing with Lando though is he's very good burst damage, and if he's not doing burst damage, he's kind of at a disadvantage. And so the two are really 3, almost 4 issues with bringing him. It's actually, I think with you switching knockoff, because last time we played, you had knockoff on your iron treads. And now it's Ice Spinner. That actually helped the Lando match it up, I think, when I Terra. But beyond that, everybody else was so much better. I mean, because you can Wisp me. I don't know if you spec to live Terra Ghost, Terra Blast on your Kilo. That's always a possibility. The main thing is, you set up screens, though, and I'm not killing anybody. I'm forced to Terra automatically, where before I had a little wiggle room. But, like, I mean, Ice Shards are just on the field. I know Bax is coming to almost all games. So it really just kind of hurt my lander chances, especially when I just saw how much better Kyurem was in the matchup. I mean, Kyurem was way more.
Yeah, I was, you know, and I think that played really well for you because our first set you didn't bring Kyurem at all. So this is like the complete opposite, where you switch your big guy from one guy to the other, and I was prepared for big guy number 1, and big guy number 2 was kind of messing me up. I mean,
well, it was pretty interesting because it was like, Robbie does not have a freeze dry switch in, like, period. Like, I was like, it's pretty rough when Treads is coming in here and he's like supposed to be the guy to tank these. I was like, oh geez, this is
because it's like I don't have Primarina. My closest thing I would have to switch in is Salazzle, but I'm never keeping Salazzle in the back.
Yeah, I think it was game number 2 maybe when Salazzle was in Aqua Jet range. I Aqua Jetted the other target. I was surprised you were letting me do that because I think it was the end of the tail, and I remember I was just like, no, that's such a good.
The way I saw it was.
Let's be honest.
The way I saw it was I could have made the read because I was thinking but I was thinking to myself, I was like, if I protect one and get it wrong, he'll just Aqua Jet the other. So I doubled into your Azumarill that turn.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta secure the kill here because he can't protect. I for sure Kabalion was protecting, and I should have thought maybe you'd go for Treads, because technically Treads is the higher priority since Salazzle can't touch Kabalion at all.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I actually meant the game, I think it was 2 games before that. Because that game I felt like that's fair, because that's just a 50-50. It's like you could try to call it or whatever, but...
I guess I'm the wrong one.
Yeah, the one you're talking about, Robbie, I do like no protect there because it's you were kind of at an advantage, so it's like why even play that game? You could just take.
I didn't take a lot of. I didn't want to take a lot of risks. I think it was game 2. I think it was game 2 where I kind of popped off because I got a call. It was when I doubled into your Kyurem.
Oh yeah.
He was gonna Terra.
Well, that's kind of what scared me so much, because it was like Kilo worked game 2, but you had to make such hard reads, it felt like, to really kind of keep that advantage up. And to your credit, you did. You made both protect reads I think you needed to kind of get that game. And that was a massive turn, just Kyurem going down when it looked like it was about to do a lot of work.
I think a very underrated adjustment I made too was Volt Switch on Kilo. Because being able to get the Tailwind up and then instantly get in the swap. I kind of messed up at the start of game 4 though. And because I kind of forgot that he had a covert cloak on Kyurem.
Oh yeah.
You didn't bring that up.
Yeah, I faked out into it because I was like, oh, I'm not getting freeze or ice beam this turn. I did though.
Yeah, it was kind of a big sludge bomb you kind of whiffed on there. It could have did some good damage, but
could have maybe taken out the Kyurem on the following turn when you sludge bombed again. I mean, that sludge bomb was doing a lot of damage to that Kyurem, a lot more than I would have expected.
Alright, well,
the last ball was popping off. I think that was the hardest thing in my matches. That's what I'll say for the final matches. Good stuff, Robbie. You played really well. I knew I didn't have a lot for Salazzle, and I kept bringing Kabalion because I was like, I don't really care if my thought was, I was like, all you can do is burn me, and it's just like, that surely can't be enough to be truly annoying, but then I kind of realized that
it is a little annoying.
Do a lot. It's a little annoying and I can't do anything back to you, so I should have probably just brought Magmortar. I thought about it that game, but I
think it was game 2 when I saw how little body press did to backs, and I was like, holy shit, like this burn is like the truth here.
Definitely.
I guess one more question for me, Joe, was that low kick just like a little tech to OHKO the backs? That was pretty interesting. Is that like a max attack Grafaiai?
It is a max attack Grafaiai. It's jolly. It was enough to outspeed Treads if Robbie ever were to switch it out. But that was it. It can't one-shot backs, but it can do a lot of damage. And actually, if Prim Terra, it could do some decent damage too. And it's 70-some% I think to Treads, so the low kick. He was meant to do damage this week, I guess, was the main thing.
Grafaiai did put in work when it was necessary.
Yeah, I think he and Kyurem were definitely the 2 stars in my eyes from your end, because it felt like Grafaiai was keeping the speed control in check as best he could, and also dealing respectable damage. But yeah, that was a fun set. Really kind of fun to see the ice dragon off, and And Robbie, you took it. So Robbie takes a 3-1. Robbie's moving on to round 2, where he's going to face Matty Ice. And that's a rematch from week 2, I think.
I know, I get 2 run backs in a row.
Going to be interesting because, as fans may recall, that's the I didn't prep for Registeel week, where Robbie got 2'd by Registeel, where he did not prep for that. So,
well,
have things changed? I've seen 8 more sets of Registeel, so my hunch is that will be present for whatever you're playing, Robbie.
Spoiler alert, Matthew at home, I will have stuff for Registeel.
Well, I think that's what we all want to hear. So yeah, congrats to you both for playing. Congrats to you mainly, Robbie, for winning, and thank you for commentating, Satan. And yeah, we will see you next week for some more content. See ya.
Goodbye.